Sometimes you find your mind returning to an old conversation, not because you want to, but because it dips back in whenever things are quiet. Maybe you're lying in bed, or walking, or just sitting still, and suddenly you are there again, hearing the same words, feeling the same moment, wondering why it never really felt finished. Sometimes a conversation doesn't end, it just stops. The words run out, everyone goes quiet, but inside your head it keeps going. Think of something you could have said, something you wish you hadn't, or the part you hope that understood but maybe didn't. And then a week later, or an year later, you're back there again, in the shower, on a walk, or late at night. Still talking, still replying, still searching for that one sentence that might have made things clearer. It had a strange feeling to it. Not loud, not dramatic, just unfinished. Like a door left slightly open. You tell yourself it was nothing. It was just an ordinary moment. People talk, life moves on. But your mind doesn't always move at the same speed. It circles, it returns, it replays. Sometimes it's because something small stayed quietly lodged inside you. A look, a tone, a pose that somehow hurts more than words. Or maybe the conversation brushed against something deeper. Something that mattered more than either of you said out aloud. And now it lives on softly, like a low background hum. You might be washing dishes, scrolling on your phone, almost asleep. And suddenly, there it is again. The same lines, the same moment, still unfinished. It's not always painful. Sometimes it's warm, like a familiar family story told again and again. Those ones feel like home, but the others, the ones that never settled, they feel heavier. You keep explaining yourself in your head, long after everyone else is gone. You imagine a conversation where you were clearer, calmer, braver, more honest, or a conversation where you said less, kept the surface smooth, didn't disturb anything. The mind likes endings, neat ones, complete ones. So when a conversation trails off with loose threads, the mind keeps stitching long after the moment has ended, even when you wish it won't. Sometimes the conversation never ends because the words weren't actually about the words. A disagreement about chores is really about feeling appreciated. A chat about plans is really about wanting to matter in someone's world. A small complaint is really about feeling alone, but none of that was spoken. So the conversation lingers, not in the air, but somewhere inside the body. It sits there quietly, like a weight you keep shifting from one shoulder to other. You think, if only I said it better. If only they had really heard me. If only I hadn't gone quiet at the end. And sometimes you didn't say the thing at all. You swallowed it, smiled, and kept the peace. So the words live on with nowhere to go, except back in your thoughts. It can feel lonely because the conversation continues inside you, but not between you. You are still reaching towards them, but the moment itself has already gone. There are conversations like this with the people we love too, not always from conflict, sometimes from unfinished connection. A parent who was busy, a friend who was drifted, someone who left suddenly or slowly. You keep talking to them in your head, explaining your day, finishing a sentence they once interrupted. It doesn't always mean you're stuck. It just means the bond mattered. And the heart doesn't always keep time with the clock. There are conversations inside yourself as well. The part that wants rest, the part that keeps going, the part that forgives, the part that still aches. Don't always use words. The feelings just move through you like quiet weather. Sometimes when you're tired, those inner voices grow louder. The past feels closer when the present feels uncertain. And beneath all of it, there's often a small longing to be seen, to be steady, to know where you stand. A conversation that never ends is sometimes just the heart saying, "This mattered." In ordinary life, these conversations appear softly. You're sitting in a traffic and suddenly you're back in a kitchen years ago, finishing a sentence that never landed. You're lying in bed and your mind returns to an afternoon where the mood changed and nobody said why. You think, if they had said one more thing, if I'd stayed a little longer, and the moment opens again, like a book left face down on the table. You pick up the thread slowly, carefully, as if it might break. Sometimes in the replay, you speak clearly. You feel understood. The air softens. Other times you walk away sooner. Protect yourself and stay quiet. Both versions say something about what lives inside you, what you wish for, what you hear, where you feel small, and where you feel strong. But mostly you just feel the echo. A quiet second life, the conversation is living inside you. There is also that familiar pattern with certain people. Different day, same conversation, and the ending never quite changes. You both circle something you can't name. Careful, gentle, almost saying it, and afterwards you are left with that feeling of we nearly reached it. Almost, but not quite. There can be kindness in that too, because it means you care enough to keep trying. You might even wonder if something is wrong with you for still thinking about it. But maybe this is simply part of being human. We tell stories inside ourselves, and conversations don't always stop when the words do. Sometimes they ripple softly for years. Some ripples feel warm. I was understood there. Others carry a small ache, a line you can't forget, a silence that stayed. And so the mind keeps talking quietly, just in case one more rehearsal might finally let the feeling rest. Time moves, things shift. What once felt sharp softens. What once confused you starts to make sense. What once defined you becomes just one page in longer story. The conversation is still there, just quieter, gentler, like the past and present sitting side by side without needing much to say. And in all of this, there is something human about wanting a final line, a neat full stop. But life doesn't always write like that. Some conversations fade out, some in mid sentence, some stay open, like a window letting the air move through. And maybe that's alright, because those unfinished moments simply show that you cared, that connection mattered, that the words were carrying something bigger than words. You carry them with you, not because you failed to move on, but because you can't switch off the part of you that wanted to be close, or safe, or seen. Sometimes in quiet nights, the conversation grows softer, the edges blur, the voices settle. You don't have to fix it or solve it or reach a final line. You can simply sit beside it for a while, like sitting with an old friend. No pressure to talk, no pressure to finish, just breathing in the same room. The mind will return again one day. But for now, in this small pocket of stillness, it's enough to know there's nothing strange about carrying unfinished words. It is simply part of being human. And tonight, there's nothing you need to conclude. No perfect final sentence. Just the quiet awareness that some conversations keep living softly inside us because the feelings beneath them were real.